Hi guys, here we are, MMA UK News. Obviously myself, Stoomboy, as always, MMA UK BJJ show. Running a little bit late, my fault. It was my fault. But yeah, got caught up on another meeting before we got a chance to speak to my next guest tonight. So we're talking about Grapplefest 10. Grapplefest 10 is going to be at the usual place, Fusion Nightclub in Fleet Street in Liverpool. So the event's going to be Saturday the 20th of November. Doors open, I believe, 4 o'clock. 6 hours of grappling and absolute fantastic lineup of grapplers that are going to be on the night. There's obviously top guys from start to finish, male and female, different weight divisions and so on. I think the lightest is about 65 kilos, going right up to the over 100 kilos. So going to be headlined by Dante Leon and Oliver Taza. And obviously you've got things like the Rotolo brothers and stuff like that are going to be there as well. So tickets are available directly from the fighters. So if you have any fighters that are on the card, make sure you do speak to them. If you can't get any tickets from the fighters, go to the Grapplefest Facebook page, Eventbrite. It'll take you to Eventbrite. Tickets, including booking fee, £32.93. So my next guest is going to be one of the fighters on the card that night. So obviously Reiss Jones. Reiss is going to be up against Lewis Ridley. Now again, a lot of people have been telling me good things about Reiss, so I'm absolutely buzzing to see what Reiss is going to bring on the night. So Reiss, listen, absolute pleasure to have you on, buddy. How you doing?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm good, sir. I'm good. So for you, I mean, obviously training then. So now we're officially back. Reiss, how's everything been going training-wise for yourself?
It's been great. It's been going great, to be fair. It's good to get back on the mats officially and
Nice.
get to proper training again.
Definitely. And I mean, you mentioned as well, you travel about a bit. I mean, you do go to other gyms. You like to go to other gyms and stuff like that. So you've got a good network of people around you.
Yeah, 100%. I think especially in this day and age, it's important to go out and test yourself against different styles. Each gym's got their own different style, and it's good to networking and get with the jiu-jitsu community. You know.
Yeah. And you wouldn't have seen that. I mean, how long have you been in the game for now?
About 11 years now.
And when you first started, because I know I've been around about 8 years, and it wasn't really like that 8 years ago, and probably 11 years ago when you started. You couldn't really just travel to any other gym. I mean, you were able to travel to certain gyms, but you certainly couldn't just go to other gyms the way you can now.
Well, I used to be Gracie Barra, so I know all about that.
Well, listen, I was a GB guy as well. I was up there till I got my blue belt, and then obviously moved on. So, but yeah, I mean, obviously looking back then, people are a little bit more privileged now that you've got that opportunity. You can go and train wherever you want.
I think attitude has changed a lot more nowadays. Like it's less clicky. I think people are just accepting it for what it is, and if people want to come and train with, let's say someone will come train with me, they come train with me. It doesn't mean they have to leave their club to do it. They can just pop in for a session and train. I can go somewhere else and train. I don't have to abandon all my affiliations and ties or anything like that. I'll just go and train and roll. Like that's what we do.
Definitely. And I remember my coach always said it as well. He's like, Stuart, do you know what? You can train wherever you want. You just need to have a base. So obviously a base gym. So especially if you're going out competing, you need to have someone that you're going out competing for. So where you train, and my coach Marcos is always like, well, listen, you go and train somewhere, and you could pick something up and bring it back to the gym, which will benefit us that we could then use in competitions and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like it's a melting pot of different techniques and stuff. You know, a high tide raises all ships and all that.
Yeah. And then, what about you then? Obviously, your class is obviously Immortal. So, how's now that the classes are now everything's back up? I mean, is it busier now than what it was pre-COVID?
Well, same as Ash. I know you spoke to Ash, and Ash opened up a new gym, but I opened up a new gym as well during COVID time as well. So I used to run a place called the Fight Hub in Tamworth. and we were just a mezzanine floor above the gym, and now I've got my own gym now called Immortal Combat Academy in Tamworth, and playing Mortal Kombat before anybody says it. Yeah, but yeah, it's a lot busier. The whole attitude towards training, everyone's missed training. They want to come back. They want to do something with their time and lives and energy. It's good to see.
Yeah. And do you think that, I mean, there's, because obviously people have had that time off, and obviously we all miss jiu-jitsu. I mean, if you weren't training jiu-jitsu, everybody was talking about it. Facebook blew up. I know that loads of people were doing different podcasts and they were chatting to people. Everybody was talking about jiu-jitsu. So do you think that, and again, I asked Ash this as well, that during that time that we had off, it helped a lot of people kind of reevaluate their jiu-jitsu journeys, and it made a lot of people come back even stronger than what they were before, and some people kind of fell off and things like that.
I think a lot of time when people fall off doing jiu-jitsu, they always have the perception that they have the choice to go back and pick up where they left off. But obviously, when COVID come about, that choice is taken away from a lot of people. So I think it kick-started a lot, and it's been a long time, isn't it? It was like 18 months.
18 months, yeah.
18 months, and 18 months is a big period of time. You know what I mean, to have off training properly or consistently per se. So, like, for example, like I think I was like 25 when I started COVID, and now I'm like 27. I'm like, fuck, you know what have I done for the last 2 years?
Yeah. And if you put it in perspective, I mean, you can realistically rank up from belt to belt in 18 months.
Oh, 100%.
So, and that's and again, it's put in perspective, and we know anybody that does jiu-jitsu knows how much shit that we need to put in to get each belt. And I'd say COVID 18 months is like going from one belt to another. And that's how much it took away from people. Because you would have had people who were white belts that would have been a blue belt, blue to purple, and so on and so on. So that's how much it took away from people.
And not just that, like I think with everyone's routines thrown out the window, I knew people that were like really like in shape, like 80-ish kilo, and then suddenly COVID hits and they come back and they're over 100 and they're like panting up and down from walking up the steps.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
It had a massive effect, I think, on a lot of people in terms of health and mental health, physical health.
Listen, I was a young man when COVID came. Now I'm an old man with a grey beard and I've got a ponytail and shit, man. Do you know what I mean? So,
come away.
So we were all young men before COVID, and COVID's just fucking ruined it for everybody. So now, what about you? Obviously, Grapplefest 10. So again, a massive platform. So it's going to be on Flow Grappling, so it's going to be all around the world. How did the matchup? How did you find out about a matchup for you?
Well, I've been messaging Tomo for the last 2 or 3 years asking to get a space on Grapplefest, and I think he just kind of got sick of me asking him and thought, oh, it is a match. Here you go, here's a match. Just leave me alone now. Here he is. Yeah.
Yeah. I think we tried to get, there was a few guys in Scotland we obviously wanted to get on. I know they managed to get a few on from Scotland, but and there was one guy in particular, Mark McQueen, who like I'd messaged Tomo about it. Another guy, Jack Brown, messaged him. Somebody else messaged him, and I remember a post went up about it, and I said, "Look, Tomo will be fucking fed up hearing this guy's name." And he came on. He was like, "Yeah, I think everybody in Scotland's messaged me about this one guy." So, but he never got him on. He couldn't get him matched up. So, but yeah, I mean, obviously that persistence, obviously, as you mentioned, if you've been messaging him the last couple of years, it pays off. Obviously, he knows who you are. You're in his head. So obviously, you got your fight on Grapplefest 10.
Yeah, well, I sold it to him. I said to him, "I goes, I'll be excited for the first 2 minutes, then I'll gas and I'll get tapped." So that's the plan.
Live on Flow Grappling as well.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Kill or be killed.
Definitely. And then, what about your opponent? Obviously, Lewis. So, do you know much about Lewis at all?
Not really. I don't think he has social media either. So, like, you do your little stalking. Yes. Like, I know his coach was giving a lot of the pictures and a lot of the details. So I'm not sure if they have this closed little circuit group. Yeah. I mean, he's a secret killer and they don't want to disclose his information.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I do the same as you. I mean, whenever an event comes up, I like to kind of look at. For me, if I'm competing, I like to go on and try and find out about the person. Or even if I'm doing something like this, I'll go on and I'll find out some stuff about people. And your man Lewis, man, I could not see anything about this kid at all.
No, I couldn't. I couldn't see much to do with the gym either. I think Rio Grappling's like a franchise. I think there's a few of them about, and
They're all over, yeah, yeah.
I've mentioned the coach Ian to a few guys, and a lot of people know who Ian is, like old school MMA. So if he's getting taught by Ian, it must be a good guy. So
yeah, definitely. And then one thing I wanted to pick up with you, because as I mentioned, I like to go on people's Facebook and obviously look at some stuff. All right, so tell us about you being the palest man in Thailand.
Oh wow. I think the clues in the title.
So this was so this was a picture. Obviously, I went on Reiss's, doing a little bit of stalking myself. So came across a picture where obviously Reiss was in a gym in Thailand, and yeah, he was like Casper the Ghost. He was the whitest man in the room.
Was I white or was everybody just really dark?
Well, you didn't have a suntan. You were in a hot country and there was no suntan.
I just burned. Like, when I went to Thailand, honestly, as soon as I walked out of the airport, I just started dripping with sweat, and I just couldn't handle it. I actually ended my whole time that I was in Thailand. I slept through the day. I was like a vampire. Right. I just decided to walk about at night. I couldn't handle the heat. I woke up for my evening session, stayed up throughout the night, got myself some dumplings from the shop. You can microwave them, by the way, and Red Bull comes in bottles, not in cans.
Nice.
And then I'll go like sightseeing. I'll have a little walk around, see a few cats, and then I'll come back to the hotel, get my not the hotel, the little apartment thing, get my stuff on, train in the morning till about 10 a.m. and then just before the sun proper comes up, I go to sleep.
Yeah. So listen, if anybody's got Reiss, go and look at this picture, because as I said, he was very white. He was very, very pale. So, and I think it didn't help because, as you mentioned, you were in the gym with obviously people from Thailand and things like that, who are obviously they're darker skinned, and then obviously you've walked in completely pale. And it did. I think people were calling you a snowflake and stuff like that. So a lot of your friends coming on giving you a hard time about it.
Yeah, everyone gives me a hard time, but it's all fun and games, isn't it?
Yes. And then what's obviously your main focus then? Grapplefest 10, that's your main focus at the moment. What do you vision for yourself? I mean, what's the plan for Reiss Jones going forward?
After Grapplefest, or as in towards Grapplefest?
Yeah, after Grapplefest. So obviously taking Grapplefest out. Obviously, I know you're going to be concentrating on this, but what plans have you got competition-wise going forward?
So the plan was really to get my weight down a lot and have my first professional MMA fight. I train a lot at Team Renegade in Birmingham.
Yeah,
and I do a lot of my grappling there. And Tom Breeze is the coach there. He's really good. Yeah, guys like Danny Khalid and stuff like that there as well, who are also very good. So I was getting some good rounds in over there, and I wanted to go into pro MMA as well because I've had a few amateur fights now. I wanted to jump up to pro. It's just I'm just a fat pig though, and I can't get my weight down.
Okay,
but I will.
Okay.
I will. Eventually, it'll happen.
Yeah. So obviously for you then, obviously maybe get that pro debut in, or get him some pro fights in. Is there any kind of event that you would like to go on, or whoever wants you?
Whoever will have me, I'm easy. You know what I mean? I'm easy. I think James Price offered me a pro fight in Battle Arena. I see Golden Ticket are doing really good things in the MMA circuit for pro fighters and amateur fighters. And Almighty as well. They look really good.
Yeah. But you've also there's a guy fighting on the card on the 20th, Dan Hope of Evolution of Combat.
Okay.
So Evolution of Combat, I don't know if you know, they do like a show where they do some grappling matches, they do some kickboxing matches, they do amateur and professional MMA fights as well. So
really? No, I've not heard.
Yeah, listen, Dan's on. I think Dan's the second last fight on the prelim card on the night. So yeah, listen, hook up with Dan. Dan watches the show as well. So Dan, if you're watching, Reiss's waiting and ready to go, man, after Grapplefest. So
if you're watching Grapplefest, Dan, just watch the first 2 minutes of the match. You won't be disappointed. Switch off after that if it goes any more than that.
Definitely. And then one question did come in. So this is from Arnice. Arnice is one of the kind of top, or one of our top writers for MMA UK news. So apart from your inclusion, what matchups are you looking forward to seeing the most?
Well, I'm always looking forward to seeing my buddies compete. You know what I mean? I've got some good friends competing on Grapplefest. Ash, of course, lovable creature.
Yes.
Look forward to see Joffrey compete as well, even though he just throws shade my way all the time. And then, Ash Wag from Stoke as well. I've been to train over at Horizon a few times. And he's looking really sharp for his match coming up. You know, and obviously the pro. I'm looking forward to watching everything. To be fair, like bit of a cop out, but what's not to like?
Well, listen, there's going to be a lot of fights on. I mean, it's 32 fights in total, so there's a lot. I mean, when I'm talking to people about this card, from start to finish, there's something for everybody on this card. I mean, and again, some of these guys are the top guys in like maybe Scotland or England or the UK, and further afield. I mean, it's an absolute excellent card from start to finish.
Yeah, 100%. Tomo's done a great job to put it together, and I'd say definitely just behind Polaris, it is probably the biggest European show there is, and it's an honor to be on it. Huge honor for me. Yeah,
definitely. Now, listen, I'm looking forward to seeing you. As I said, I've had nothing but good words that I've been hearing about you. Obviously, people talking to me about your training and stuff like that. So yeah, listen, I'm buzzing to see you on the night. Last thing for you then, anybody you want to shout out to? So kind of friends, family members, teammates, or maybe anybody you don't want to shout out to, Reiss.
Anybody I don't want to shout out to?
Yes, don't mention anybody you don't want to shout out to. You guys know who you are.
Is that a double negative? Oh, you know who you are. All my training partners here, there, and everywhere. Everyone that's helped me prepare for Grapplefest far and wide, as well as all my students at Immortal and my girlfriend, my kids, and parents and shit. You know what I mean? The standard.
Definitely. But listen, it's been an absolute pleasure, Reiss. As I said, always love chatting with obviously jiu-jitsu guys and girls throughout the UK and further afield. So as I say, I've got big love for obviously anybody coming from the UK, as we spoke of before we went live. So yeah, guys, listen. Reiss Jones going to be up against Lewis Radley, Grapplefest 10, Saturday, 20th of November. Doors open at 4 o'clock. If Reiss has got any tickets, make sure you get the tickets from Reiss. If Reiss doesn't, listen, please buy them. Listen, it's going to be the best 2 minutes of your life, according to Reiss. All right, so, but yes, if you can't get any tickets from Reiss, hit up Facebook, Grapplefest, go to Eventbrite, £32.93 and get your tickets directly from them. But Reiss, absolute honour as always, buddy. I'll see you next month. Me and you'll get a chat next month, buddy.
That's it, yeah. 100%.
All right. Nice one. Well, listen, thank you again, and we'll speak to you soon. All right.
Thanks for having me.
Take it easy, buddy. Bye-bye.
Bye.